Hello, in this video you will see information on Spanish Heritage courses offered at Valencia College. More specifically, we are going to quickly talk about the following things. Which are the courses offered for Spanish Heritage speakers at Valencia? Who are Spanish Heritage speakers? How to make sure that you, the student, is in the correct Spanish course. First, we'll start describing which courses are offered for Spanish Heritage speakers here at Valencia College. Similar to the two courses that are offered to fulfill the foreign language requirement, Spanish 1120, followed by Spanish 1121, there are two courses at Valencia offered that also fulfill the Spanish language requirement, Spanish 1340, followed by Spanish 1341. They are both online courses and classroom courses offered for Spanish 1340 and Spanish 1341 on a regular basis. As described in the course catalog, Spanish 1340 is designed for heritage speakers of Spanish who have acquired oral proficiency in a non-academic environment, where the emphasis will be on improving linguistic skills designed to meet the particular needs of heritage speakers of Spanish. This is in contrast to Spanish 1120, Elementary Spanish 1, which emphasizes everyday use of language through a conversational approach to Spanish, which is not open to Spanish speakers. Again, it is very important for you to note that Spanish 1120 is not open to Spanish native or heritage Spanish speakers, which is why you may not take this Spanish 1120 course or Spanish 1121 course if you are a Spanish heritage speaker. So who are these Spanish heritage speakers? Well, Spanish heritage speakers are those students that have been exposed to Spanish in their childhood and did not learn the language fully but can understand it and speak it to a certain degree. A Spanish heritage speaker in the U.S. is an individual, for example, who was raised in a home where Spanish was spoken, for example by grandparents, parents, and or siblings, and who speaks or merely understands Spanish, but whose dominant first language is still English. So how do you know if you are a Spanish heritage speaker? The questionnaire below can help you decide if you are considered to be a Spanish heritage speaker. The background questionnaire provides information about language used in the home and the amount of input and output, that is to say, how much hearing and speaking of the language a student has had with Spanish. It is to a student's benefit to answer as honestly as possible. Ask yourself the following 6 questions, and if they apply to you and you answer yes to at least 2 of these questions, then you should most likely register for Spanish 1340 instead of Spanish 1120. If you still have doubts, you can also contact Professor Salto, whose contact information will be provided in the last slide. So as a student, answer yes or no to the following questions. Can you understand the main points of a conversation in Spanish because of your exposure to the language in your community or with your family? Was Spanish spoken in your home when you were a child? Was Spanish your first language as a child? Did your parents and or grandparents often speak to you in Spanish as a child? Did you, either now or as a child, speak Spanish or both Spanish and English with your family or friends? And lastly, did you live in a Spanish-speaking country for 2 years or longer? If you indicated yes for at least 2 of the items above, then you should most likely register for Spanish 1340 and not Spanish 1120. So important things to consider. The following are some important things to consider if you have accidentally registered for Spanish 1120 and you should actually be registered in Spanish 1340. Note that Spanish 1340 is the equivalent of Spanish 1120, but Spanish 1340 is designed for Spanish heritage speakers. Also, students might not know they're heritage speakers when in fact they are. It is important to know the benefits of the Spanish Heritage Language Track. Spanish 1340 is designed to help Spanish heritage speakers learn, develop, and improve their Spanish. It is not for proficient monolingual Spanish speakers that speak Spanish fluently already. Students' perception of the course is also important. Elementary Spanish 1 versus Spanish for Heritage Speakers 1. Spanish 1120 is not easier than Spanish 1340, and Spanish heritage speakers tend to do a lot better in Spanish 1340 than in Spanish 1120. Remember, correct Spanish course placement is to your benefit. Also, Elementary Spanish 1120 course is closed to Spanish speakers, heritage or native speakers. Again, if you have questions or doubts, please contact Professor Juan-Alberto Salto at jsalto@valenciacollege.edu. Thank you.